Welcome to Emotional Gravy Studios. My name is Darwyn Thompson. I'm with my co-host Nathan, and for ever since Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, people have been going crazy about who should be in the Fantastic Four for the MCU. So today we're going to be putting all that to rest because we're just going to do it ourselves, Thanos style. And so, there have been rumors of different castings and stuff, but Nathan and I, we're going to say who, our picks are, who we think would work well together. Marvel has said that they're going to cast Sue Storm first, so I think that's who we're going to start with. Nathan, who do you think should play the Invisible Woman?
Okay, so I had a really tough time picking out who I wanted to be Sue Storm. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of really good options, too.
Yeah, definitely tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. But I'm going kind of off the wall here.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a pick that not many people would agree with, but I think Gillian Jacobs would be good for Sue Storm. She's Britta, the worst person in Community.
She's the worst.
She's the worst.
She's like a fun vampire. She sucks the fun out of everything.
Yeah. No, but I think she's a really good actress.
Man.
She's in a lot of different stuff. She's I don't know how you put it. There's definitely other people that could play this role.
Oh yeah.
But I think Gillian Jacobs is probably the most underrated person that could play this part. And I think she could do it really good. I think she looks the part.
Mm-hmm.
I think she could play the part. She's not overly pretty, but she's not
believable enough that you could believe that Namor would want to go after her.
Yeah.
Like in the comics. Actually, I didn't have her. I actually had Alison Brie on my list of people who I was thinking about. Because there for a little bit, when they were casting She-Hulk, they said that they wanted an Alison Brie type actress for She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Alison Brie just doesn't want to be in a Marvel movie. But I feel like Alison Brie, she's grown a lot since Community.
Mm-hmm.
She has some heart. But I think Gillian Jacobs, that's one I didn't even think of. That would be pretty good. I will say I agree. Most of my notes that I have in front of me were people for Sue Storm. Because I think there's a lot of different ways you could go. But it really came down to two people for me. And so for my casting, I try to keep early 30s because they're going to want to keep them for a 9-movie contract, so 10 years or what have you.
That's the thing with Gillian Jacobs. I think she's 40 right now, so it's a little on the older side.
Yeah.
But I still think, she still looks super young.
Yeah.
And so I think she could do that well. And my casting choices are a little bit on the older side too.
Yeah.
So.
I will say, if they were going to go older, 40s, there are so many different actors I would have chosen. I would have kept John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Because I don't think he got a fair shake in Multiverse of Madness. But for me, it really came down to two people. And I go back and forth. It depending on, yesterday I had it set to one. Today I'm kind of going back and forth. But my first choice would be Jodie Comer. She was in Free Guy. I actually watched The Last Duel the other night. She was in it. She's 29, so she'll be able to do 10 movies. She's also not afraid to do franchises. She's not afraid to be around other big actors. Like in The Last Duel, she was acting with Matt Damon, Adam Driver. So also Free Guy, she was with Joe Keery. She was with Ryan Reynolds, So she has the acting chops. She has the ability. Also, she also looks the part. But it was either that or Lily James. I really thought that would work too. She's 33, which is actually a lot younger than I thought she was. Or for some reason, I thought she was going to be late 30s. But, she was in Cinderella. She was in Baby Driver. Both of these actresses can put a lot of heart and passion into it, which is really important for Sue Storm because, she is the heart of the group. So for Marvel, they're starting with Sue Storm and working their way up, which I think is really smart. And so starting with Sue Storm, you can kind of go from there and be like, oh, who do you want to be Sue Storm's little brother? Who do you want to be Sue Storm's, husband or love interest? So do you want to Do you have any other suggestions that you thought would be interesting?
No, I just got one written down for everybody. But
all right, do you want to go with Human Torch next? Since
Yeah.
it's Sue Storm's little brother.
yeah.
Who
So
you got?
for Johnny Storm, I've got Glenn Powell. He was in
that's a good
Top Gun
one.
Maverick. He was in Devotion with Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
And I think he looks the part. He could play the part. You know, he's super cocky, and I think he would just be perfect for it.
A lot of people want him to be Green Lantern or Booster Gold, which I could see, but Human Torch, I think, would be a really good one for him. And especially with Gillian Jacobs as Sue Storm, I could see that working of, like, her being like, oh my gosh, like, Johnny, like, okay, like, you're being really annoying.
Right.
And stuff. I could see that. A lot of my picks were a little younger. So Jodie Comer, she's 29. And so this is someone who I really like and I think is underrated. But I put Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. He's there's two of those kids from the cast members of, like, the kid cast that I think are going to make it, like, past Stranger Things and going to go on to do bigger things. And I think he's one of them.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated. I've seen him in a couple different things. I think he could definitely be the Daredevil Johnny Storm. I think he'd really play into that. He is also, I think he's 21. He looks old enough that he could be around Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which is another big factor, because they have a really interesting friendship. But I have Caleb McLaughlin. I also think he would work well with Jodie Comer.
I actually thought about putting him as the Human Torch. I thought about it real hard.
And my other pick was Ross Lynch. I think he's kind of underrated too. I think he's on the verge of being really good, but he's also 27, so similar age to Tom Holland. But also, I think he'd be more of, like, the frat boy vibe. But Caleb McLaughlin is my pick.
That's a
pretty
good pick.
concrete. Next is The Thing. I only have one for this because I have a lot of thoughts about The Thing. So for mine, I have Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
So here's the thing. Here's my thing. The Thing is Jewish. So Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, all those guys were Jewish, and The Thing was like Jack Kirby's baby, like how Spider-Man is Stan Lee's baby. Jack Kirby's baby is The Thing, and, like, his design is based off of like the rock monster Gollum. Which is a Jewish thing, and, like, Jack Kirby would make these Hanukkah cards with The Thing on them, and so I think it was important to, like, cast someone who was Jewish in the role. Also, Seth Rogen, he can do more than bad comedies. Like, he was and he's not new to the superhero genre because he did The Green Hornet. He's also a producer on Invincible, and he also plays one of the characters in that. But the thing is that he's 40 years old, which is kind of a lot older than the rest of my cast. But then again, I think you don't introduce human thing. You just have the Rock Gollum type thing. You just go from there, kind of like Vin Diesel playing Groot. That's just what you do. You just have Seth Rogen voice it.
Yeah.
But who do you got?
I can see that. I've got Dominic Lombardozzi. Now he's Fat Tony, I think, in The Irishman.
I think so.
If
I think I
you
know
can
who you're
recall.
talking about.
Yeah. He looks the part to me. I think he could do a really good job of looking the part, sounding the part, and everything. So I haven't seen too much of him, but I think that just the look alone is just spot on. So
would you want to have a CGI thing, or would you want to have, like, a practical suit like in the old 2000s movie?
That's the question. That is the question. Honestly, with the way that the CGI has been going with the Marvel movies lately, I think practical is the way to go.
I didn't think about that. Because then if you're going to go with practical, do you have someone kind of like with the Darth Vader in the original trilogy, where it's like you have, like, a bodybuilder guy who's like 6'5" in the suit, then you have James Earl Jones' voice.
Yeah.
So would you have, like, someone else do the motion capture and then...
Well, I think Dominic Lombardozzi isn't small. I think he's actually pretty tall.
Yeah.
So I think he could just do it in the suit himself if he wanted to. But, I mean, if you can find a big man...
Yeah, who will do it.
Put him in the suit.
Man, I didn't think about the CGI thing.
Yeah.
Man, that's something really to consider with the crappy Marvel CGI. But
because I mean, look at She-Hulk.
it's
terrible. I know it's a TV show, but
but Disney has money.
Yeah.
They're going to blow millions of dollars, and especially for Fantastic Four, I think they're really going to rely heavily on, with Spider-Man and X-Men. But, man, I didn't think about the CGI. Do you want to do... So, the only one we have left is Mr. Fantastic, but we also casted Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Because we know they're going to try to milk him. I wouldn't be surprised if after Kang they make him the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to cast first, Doctor Doom or Mr. Fantastic?
Let's finish out the Fantastic Four.
Okay. Do you want to start? I think this one was actually kind of easy.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go. I've got Henry Cavill as Reed Richards.
Man, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Because Marvel's like, hey man, don't hang up the superhero things. Come on over to us.
See, that's exactly my thoughts. They got rid of him for Superman, and so it's like, well, this is Marvel's chance to pick him up, and I think he totally looked the part of Reed Richards.
Yeah,
I think he could. I mean, you see his beard and everything. You just put a little bit of gray on the sides. I think he's solid right there.
Do you think he would be able to have good chemistry with Gillian Jacobs?
See, that's the thing that kind of had me a little bit iffy about picking Gillian Jacobs as Sue Storm. Because I picked Henry Cavill before I picked Sue Storm.
Yeah.
But I think they could pull it off. I think so.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that many things with Gillian Jacobs.
Yeah.
But I think Henry Cavill is an interesting choice. I wouldn't be surprised if here soon we get some fan art of that.
Yeah.
And then everyone will lose their mind. And this is not a question, but do you think he's too buff to be Mr. Fantastic?
See, that was my next concern, because I was like, okay, let's picture Gillian Jacobs side by side with Henry Cavill.
Dude, he's gonna look like a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, okay, maybe he's a little too tall. And so then I looked up Joel McHale's height, and he's 6'4".
Oh, and he looks like a giant next to Gillian Jacobs.
But Henry Cavill's 6'1", so it's not like
I mean, he's tall.
He's gonna look like a giant either way.
Compared to us short guys, that's still pretty tall.
Short kings.
Yeah. I mean, you're not really that short.
Not 5'8".
Yeah, that's the average. But I'm short. I'm a hobbit.
Yeah. But hey, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Hey man, hobbits have fun.
Yeah, they do.
But
absolutely.
I actually think this one was pretty easy. But actually, I had a lot of options, but it was narrowing it down and seeing who would work with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I have Nicholas Hoult. He played Beast in X-Men.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of other things. He was actually, whenever they were going to cast the Batman for the Matt Reeves movie, it was him and Robert Pattinson.
Really?
And it really came down to the wire, and Robert Pattinson won out. Nicholas Hoult is actually I looked it up, he's only 33.
Really?
I thought he was going to be a lot older.
I thought so too.
I think I also watched him in The Menu here recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could play charming Reed Richards, but I think he can also play Reed Richards that's a jerk. I think he can do that really well.
He's also in Tolkien. He plays Tolkien in that movie.
He can play smart because he played Beast in X-Men. I think he'd also play nice Mr. Fantastic, which is an underrated part of his character whenever he's really compassionate for his kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think him and Jodie Comer would have really good chemistry.
I think he could have good chemistry with anybody.
I think so. He's a really good actor. I had some other ones who I thought would also do a really good job, but I really base it around Jodie Comer. And I think Nicholas Hoult would have really good chemistry. I think he I don't think he really looks like Reed Richards, but he looks close enough to Reed Richards. I've never seen him with a beard, which I think they should do if they're going to have Mr. Fantastic in. I think they got to have the beard. I think that look is really iconic. And it's been really current with the comics and stuff. Other guy that I had is Keith Steinfeld. He was in Sorry to Bother You. Was it Get Out? He's been in a couple different things. He's a really good actor. He's also black, and he's in the comic books, Mr. Fantastic is related to Kang. And so if they're wanting to go with that, add some more diversity to the group, I could definitely see that. I think he's a really underrated actor. He's really seamless in everything he's in. I think he would also have really good chemistry with Jodie Comer, and he's only 31, so he's still in that good age range of he can be in a lot of movies. But yeah.
Now, what do you think about? Because I know like this is a really popular fan casting of like Sue Storm and Reed Richards, having John Krasinski, and then Emily Blunt. What do you think about that?
I think John Krasinski plays a really good older Mr. Fantastic, and Emily Blunt, that's who I've wanted for a really long time. She's one of my favorite actresses. They have great chemistry. They're already married, you know. My only concern would be is that they seem like a couple that likes to keep their life private.
Right.
Which, can't blame them. So I don't think that they would do it. And I mean, personally, I would love it. But Emily Blunt also turned down the role of Black Widow a long time ago. So
I saw an article while I was looking up the fan castings where it said like Emily Blunt came out and said that she doesn't want, like, has no interest in doing superhero movies.
See, I think John Krasinski was like, come on, like, let's do it. Like, this would be cool. And she's like, no, I don't want to. And I can't blame her. I think it's funny, every couple months we get a new, like, fan art of someone. You know, there was one with Dave Patel, who was in The Green Knight. He was in The Lion. He's a pretty good actor. I think he could do it, but he's not my first choice. Then, like, Penn Badgley from You, that was another one that I saw. I'm like, I don't know. Like, sure, I guess. But it's like every time there's, like, a white boy of the month, they're like, Mr. Fantastic. And I'm like, dude, no. Like, let's not. Like, that's not good. But I think also in the same vein as Emily Blunt, who I think would be good, was Emilia Clarke. From Game of Thrones, from Solo. I think she would have been good, but she's going to be in Secret Wars.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
And I don't really know who she's going to play, but I had another choice for who I really was high on for Mr. Fantastic. That's William Jackson Harper from The Good Place. He plays Chidi, but apparently he's in Quantumania, and he plays someone random. And I had another that I thought about earlier was Steve Ewan from The Walking Dead and Invincible. I thought he'd be good, but he's in his 40s, so, and also I saw like earlier today that he's been casting Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't think he's gonna be Mr. Fantastic. I think he could really pull it off though.
Yeah,
but
I would agree with that.
Do you want to do Doctor Doom now?
Let's move on to Doctor Doom.
I think I know who you got for Doctor Doom.
Okay, should I just say it?
Yeah, just go say it.
Viggo Mortensen, man.
That's not who I thought.
That's not?
I thought you were going to say Adam Driver.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking about Adam Driver. But honestly, I think when we did the superheroes cinematic draft a long time ago, I had casted Adam Driver as Moon Knight, which I still think he would have been really fantastic as Moon Knight.
I think Andrew Lincoln would have been good as Moon Knight. I was watching The Walking Dead, and there's like this part, and they're in town. I think they're on season 6, and he has all the Band-Aids on. I'm like, big Moon Knight vibes. But Viggo Mortensen. So
I had Adam Driver as Moon Knight, and I casted Viggo Mortensen as Doctor Doom. Yeah. I think he could nail the part so well. I think he's older for sure. He's pretty old now, but I still think he could absolutely nail it.
See, that was one of my problems for casting Doctor Doom, is because he's supposed to be the same age as Mr. Fantastic, because they went to college together and everything. And I was throwing around Adam Driver. I was throwing around Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders, from Batman Begins, Red Eye.
He's in Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Also, he's my choice to play the Question over at DC, if that ever becomes a thing. But I also, there's also been rumors that Ben Affleck is going to be in a Marvel movie. I was like, man, he would be an interesting Doctor Doom. I think he could do it.
I think he'd be okay.
But he's 50 years old, and that's 20 years older than my Mr. Fantastic. But I picked John Boyega.
John Boyega.
I think he can do it.
I think he could too.
I know I fan cast him in everything, but my boy deserves a win.
He does. He really does.
He's such a great actor. He deserves a win. And I was imagining him in the suit, like putting on the mask with the hood. I'm like,
Dude,
this guy
that gives me goosebumps thinking about.
He's also 30. He fits just in time with everyone else. I think he'd also have great chemistry with Nicholas Hoult. I think also if you want to do a love triangle thing, he would go great with Jodie Comer.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be the next big bad. I also who I think I was also thinking of like Ben Barnes. He's 41 though. He doesn't look 41, so I'm like, you could kind of do it, but I think he would play a very different Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
But John Boyega, I can see being the leader of Latveria. I can see him, just ruling that country, and then the country just thriving. I could see it being...
Man, that is a good pick.
Yeah.
That is a really good pick.
Yeah, and also my pick for James Bond, baby. I know
I would watch that.
Yeah, I also have a lot of feelings about the James Bond casting, even though I'm not the biggest fan of James Bond, but I also have a fan theory that for Latveria, they're like Sokovia was destroyed in Age of Ultron. I always thought that they were going to change that like to Latveria, and Doctor Doom comes in and he like takes over the country because he's charismatic and smart and everything. I could see John Boyega being that guy.
Yeah. Man, that is a great pick.
Yeah, I'm really proud of my casting. Like, it took me a while. Like, I was sitting there. I had a ton of thoughts about who could play who. I also thought about John David Washington for Mr. Fantastic, Ethan Kukowski for Human Torch. I even thought about Emma Watson as Sue Storm because she hasn't really been in anything, and I think she could do it. Especially if she wanted to get the Harry Potter stink off. Right. But
I still watch like any movie with Emma Watson in it, and I can't see anybody except Hermione.
Yeah. Which is weird because for Daniel Radcliffe, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him in a couple movies, and I'm like, I'm not automatically, that's Harry Potter. I'm like, hey, that's Daniel Radcliffe.
It's the same thing with Rupert Grint, too. Like, anytime you see him, I just think of Ron. But, yeah.
I also thought of Janelle Monáe from Glass Onion.
Yeah.
I was like, she could do Sue Storm. I was like, that'd be really... She's 37, so she's a little bit older, but she doesn't look 37.
Right.
So it's also another thing, too. Like, I don't really know if she would want to. But, yeah. I was also thinking Mole Man. I was gonna be like Bill Murray, but apparently Bill Murray is in Ant-Man Quantumania. I'm like, why are we wasting these castings?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited.
Danny DeVito
is MODOK. That's
what
they should have
right.
done. That's what they should have done. But yeah, I'm excited for Fantastic Four. I know I've said this before, but I'm not really going to be interested in the MCU until, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and then, like, maybe the X-Men.
Yeah.
But
I'd be excited for X-Men, but, man, I'd be kind of scared, too.
I'm scared for X-Men.
Yeah.
Because, like, what do you do? How do you introduce these people?
Yeah. There have been plenty of chances where they could have.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I always thought that they were going to introduce Fantastic Four... or if they were ever going to, my whole Sokovia thing.
Yeah, I think that's the best place that you could have done that.
Yeah. I think also whenever they were selling Stark Tower in Spider-Man Homecoming, I always thought Oscorp was going to move in or Fantastic Four was going to move in. That would be the Baxter building.
Yeah.
But for X-Men, I think you missed your shot to do it. I think if they would have gotten the rights earlier, you could have done it with a Captain America movie. Flashback and like, oh, there's Logan,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for Fantastic Four. They said that they're going to start casting. I think they've already cast them. And that,
I would think so too.
I think they would have cast them for a really long time because they're still trying to work out the script for the movie, which has been going through several different directors. So I think...
Does that jump out as a red flag to you? That it's going through like production hell right now?
I don't know. I hope it's not a red flag because to me, I'm like, they want to do this right.
Right.
You know, I feel like Marvel is like kind of realizing like, oh crap, people don't want to come see our movies anymore. They don't want to see our TV shows. Like, man,
it's about time.
Yeah, like we have to do this right, or we will have disappointed a lot of people. And I'm actually a late in life Fantastic Four fan because I used to not like them, but I started reading some comics for them. I started watching some cartoons. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
especially when they start coming out the Fantastic Four merch. I want to get a Fantastic Four hat. I know that for sure, but I'm excited. I don't think it's a red flag. I think it's a, man, how are we going to do this right? Because, like we were just saying, there's been a lot of opportunities where they could have just introduced them.
Right.
And like Ant-Man Quantumania, I was like, okay, this is the one. This is the quantum realm, has to do with it. That has to do with Fantastic Four. I'm like, maybe they were trapped in there and they come in. My pitch for Fantastic Four intro was always they bought Stark Tower. That's the Baxter Building. Human Torch starts going out with MJ, and then you have Peter being like, "Hey, hey, man!" I mean, especially now with he doesn't have the memory. And so my pitch, because I had that idea a long time ago, and I'm like, this fits even more because Peter goes to Human Torch, is like, hey, that was my girlfriend, I cast a spell, now he doesn't remember, and he'd be like, oh, I believe you, and he'd be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, I was trapped in the quantum realm or whatever. And also, Johnny isn't stupid. He does dumb things, but he's not stupid, because all of them are super geniuses. He's like, yeah, I understand. He's like, okay, I'll back off. Like, depending on if they like each other or not, which I would say don't like each other at first, and then they grow to be friends. So that's always been my pitch for it. And then you do like maybe, because Spider-Man is, I think they're always going to do the thing with Tom Holland of where he wants to have like a mentor figure. Mr. Fantastic is perfect for that. Sue Storm is perfect for that, especially since Aunt May is gone.
Right.
You know, he's looking for that mother figure and father figure, so maybe he tries to join the Fantastic Four, which is something he's done in the comics. But yeah,
we get that cool Spidey suit, the Fantastic Four suit.
And then you can have the paper bag over it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of things you could do. But yeah, but also another problem that I have is Tom Holland is 26. And if they're going to cast the Fantastic Four members in their 30s, so they'll be by the time the movie comes out, Tom Holland might be 30, and it's like, are we going to have our Fantastic Four members be the same age as Tom Holland, you know, Spider-Man, which I think to me is kind of weird. But also, like, are you going to have, you know, Sue Storm and Johnny Storm be around the same age to come? And there's now, because we waited so long, there's going to be these weird age discrepancies going on. But I don't know. I think Marvel is really going to try to fit this in. And I think they're going to really try. I wouldn't be surprised if all their focus is on, man, Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and introducing Wolverine.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm a little more cautiously optimistic. I think the fact that they're, you know, going back through rewriting the script several times, I think that's a good sign. Yeah. Because that tells me that they're taking the time to make sure that they get this right. Now, if it comes out and it's a crappy script, then I'm going to be upset. But, man, I think if you see any studio that is actually taking the time to make sure that what they're releasing is going to be good, I think that's a good sign. So, but yeah, that'll wrap up this episode. So, Fantastic Four fan castings. We'd love to hear what you guys would think, what kind of fan cast you guys would want to pick. So, definitely put that down in the comments. Who would you have as the Fantastic Four?
Don't say Austin Butler. Please, no. Not him.
Let's have Tom Holland play all the Fantastic Four.
Let's have Timothée Chalamet be Human Torch. No.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll do for this episode. Thank you guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want. And stay tuned for our next episodes. We got a lot coming at you. So it'll be good. But yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Did we say go follow us on Instagram?
No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah. Go follow us on Instagram. Emotional Gravy Studios. Go listen to the podcast.
Pass the Gravy.
Pass the Gravy podcast. I think we made a TikTok. Just Emotional Gravy Studios. So we're trying to make as much content as we can. So go follow all that stuff.
Send us some memes.
Send us memes. Yeah. Send us memes about the podcast. Send us memes not about the podcast. You know, we'll post them. we're slowly becoming a meme page too on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing. I actually quite like it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Me too. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.